Have you ever noticed how quiet power speaks the loudest? How your silence, your distance, your calm detachment can stir more in his heart than all the words you ever said? It doesn't hit him all at once. It moves in slow, quiet waves. He thinks you're just giving space. He believes you'll reach out again like you always do. But time passes, and you don't. And that's when it begins. That's when the echo of your absence starts knocking louder than your presence ever did. You see, detachment is not about pretending you don't care. It's about finally realizing that chasing love should never be your job. It's about standing still so he can finally feel what it's like when you're no longer circling around him. It's about letting the silence carry the weight of every word you're done repeating. You're not playing games, you're just done making him feel like he's the center of your world. Because the truth is, he never truly valued it until you stepped away. There's a saying, a woman's silence screams louder than her anger. And queens, that's not just a quote, it's a reality. The very moment you stop reacting, he starts reflecting. At first, he thinks he's free. He enjoys the peace. But slowly, the questions creep in. Why isn't she calling? Why isn't she asking? Why isn't she fighting? And then the emptiness begins to speak. That space you left behind, it starts haunting him. Think of it like this. You were the warmth in the room. He didn't notice it when he was comfortable, but now that you're gone, the chill is unmistakable. You were the music playing softly in the background, constant, comforting. But now that it's silent, the silence is deafening. That's how detachment works. It's not loud, it's not wild, it's graceful, still, and devastating. And this is the moment where you stop doubting your power. This is when you rise. Because the woman who detaches is not weak, she's dangerous. She's the one he will never forget. The one who didn't beg, didn't explain, didn't compete. She simply let go. And that is what sets her apart. Now it's time, not to fight for love, but to remember who you are. You are not just a woman who walked away. You are a queen learning to reign, without chaos, without noise, without needing permission. And this detachment, it's not the end. It's the beginning of everything he never saw coming. If this message touched something deep in your heart, if it reminded you of the power you hold when you simply let go, then like this video and subscribe to the channel, Queens. We're working hard to bring you content that heals, empowers, and awakens the truth within you. You deserve more than waiting, more than chasing. You deserve to reign. And we're here to remind you of that every single time. Number 1. He doesn't panic when you cry. He panics when you're calm. He doesn't panic when you cry. He's seen that before. He may even roll his eyes or shrug it off. But when you stop crying, when you go silent, when your energy shifts from desperate to distant, that's when the fear creeps in. Not because you raised your voice, but because you didn't. Because you no longer need to. Because he can feel it in the air. Something is gone. You're no longer emotionally chained to him. And that is the moment his world starts to feel off balance. Detachment doesn't walk in loud. It arrives quietly, with grace, with calm. It's not cold, it's clear. It's not cruel, it's complete. And he doesn't know how to process that. He expected more tears. He expected long messages. He expected you to hold on. But instead, you let go. And Queens, there is nothing more unsettling to a man than realizing that the woman who once fought for him is now at peace without him. A quote once said, The scariest silence is the one that comes after love is gone, and that's what shakes him. He begins to ask himself questions he never had to ask before. Why isn't she checking in? Why did she stop caring? And most of all, who is she becoming without me? He can sense the shift. The calm scares him more than the chaos ever did. Think of a candle. When it flickers wildly, people watch it, curious but unbothered. But when the flame goes out completely, suddenly the whole room changes. The mood shifts. The warmth is gone. That's how your calm feels to him. He didn't notice the flickers, but now that the fire is gone, the cold hits him like a storm. And this is the truth you must hold, dear woman. Your power is not in chasing. It is in choosing peace over noise, stillness over struggle. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are no longer trying to be heard. You are ready to reign. Write this in the comments and claim it. My calm is what shakes him most. Let it be known, queens, that your peace is louder than any fight. And if this message reminded you of the fire that still lives inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you the truths, the healing, and the power that help you rise, not as the woman who cried, but as the queen who walked away in silence and changed everything. Number 2. The moment you stop showing up is the moment he starts looking for you everywhere. He didn't notice when you were always there. He didn't pause when you checked in, when you showed up, when you remembered every detail he forgot. He didn't value the warmth of your presence until one day it was gone. And now, he's looking for you in places he never thought he'd miss you. In the quiet of his morning, in the middle of his success, in the laughter that doesn't sound quite right. Because the moment you stop showing up is the moment he starts feeling the space you once filled. And queens, that space becomes a mirror, one that reflects everything he didn't appreciate when he had the chance. You didn't walk away to punish him. You detached because you finally saw the truth. Chasing doesn't change anything. Your effort was not the problem. His blindness was. And detachment? It's not the absence of love. It's the presence of self-worth. When you stop showing up for a man who took you for granted, you teach him the hardest lesson of all. Access to your energy was a privilege, not a right. There's a quote that says, when you stop watering a plant, it starts to wither. Not because you're cruel, but because it didn't know how to grow on its own. That's how detachment works. You were the one pouring in love, consistency, loyalty. He stood tall because you were the roots, but now that you've pulled back, he doesn't feel strong anymore. He feels lost. He doesn't admit it out loud, but inside, he's searching. He's comparing. He's replaying every memory, trying to understand how something that felt so constant could suddenly vanish. Think of a lighthouse. It shines for everyone, but only those who are truly lost come looking for it. You were his lighthouse, but now you've turned your light inward. You're not standing in the same place, waiting to guide him back. And that absence, it's louder than any goodbye. That silence, it's colder than any argument. It's your absence that teaches him your value. Dear woman, he underestimated your silence, but now that silence is the only voice echoing in his mind. Write this in the comments and claim it. I stopped showing up, now he's searching. Let him search, queens. Let your detachment teach what your words could never explain. We are here working hard to bring you real, life-changing lessons, because queens like you were never meant to chase. You were born to reign. Number 3. He won't feel it all at once, but every day without you will chip away at his pride. He won't feel it all at once. That's the strange part. He'll wake up the next day thinking nothing's changed. He'll scroll past your name, convinced you're still waiting somewhere in the shadows. But what he doesn't realize is this: your silence has already begun its work. Your absence, your calm, your detachment. It's like water wearing down a stone, slowly, quietly, but it never stops. And soon he will feel it in places he never expected. At first, he'll pretend he's fine. He'll laugh louder, scroll longer, distract himself with anything that feels new. But with each day that passes and your energy stays missing, something inside him begins to unravel. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly. Regret does not come like a flood, it comes like a leak. And detachment, that's what opens the cracks. That's what makes him realize you're not chasing anymore. There's a saying that fits this perfectly. A man may not notice the day the sun stops shining, but he will feel the cold. And Queen, you were that sun. You gave him warmth, attention, loyalty. You gave him chances. But now, he feels the shift, and every day without your voice, your presence, your energy, it chips away at his pride like rain carving through stone. Because he thought you would always stay. He thought you would always reach. But you've grown quiet, and in that silence, he hears the one thing he feared most. You're gone. Picture it like this. A mirror once fogged by breath begins to clear. And what he sees now? Not a woman waiting, but a woman walking away. A woman no longer controlled by the fear of losing him. He doesn't feel it all at once, but day by day, piece by piece, your detachment turns into the very thing that haunts him. Not your anger, not your begging, but your calm. And that, lovely woman, is where your power begins. You're not breaking, you're building, you're no longer explaining, you're evolving. You are not the one who got left behind. You are the one rising beyond reach. Write this in the comments and claim it. My absence is the lesson. Queens, let the world know that your silence is your strength now. We are working hard to bring you powerful, life-changing lessons made just for you. Keep rising, Queen. The crown was always yours. Number 4. Your distance speaks volumes because a woman who detaches doesn't need to explain. Have you ever seen a man search for answers in silence he once ignored? It's not the loud goodbye that shakes him, it's the quiet exit. The unanswered messages, the energy he used to feel from you, suddenly gone. That's when it begins. Not all at once, but slowly. Like a shadow stretching across the day, your absence starts to say the very things you never spoke. He won't admit it, but he feels it. Your distance is not just distance, it's truth. And it speaks louder than anything you ever said while you were still trying. You used to explain, didn't you? You used to repeat your worth in actions, in words, in the way you showed up again and again. But now you've learned. A woman who detaches no longer needs to convince a man of her value. She lets the silence do it for her. And that silence? It's not weakness, it's strength wrapped in self-respect. There's a quote that says, "A queen does not announce her departure, she just never returns." That's the energy your detachment carries. It's not an outburst, it's not drama, it's the final page turned without noise. He might have thought you'd come back, that you'd keep trying to be understood. But instead, he's met with the weight of your absence, and that weight starts pressing on him more each day. Because he knows now what he thought was silence was your answer. Imagine a candle that used to burn beside him every night, soft, warm, always there. And then one night, it's out. He reaches for the light, but there's only darkness. That's you now, the light that used to comfort him, gone. And it's not because you're cold, it's because you've stopped burning for someone who never learned how to hold your flame. And this is where we say it, queens, not with words, but with how we choose ourselves. This is your shift, the moment you stop explaining your worth and start living it. You don't owe him closure. Your distance is the closure. You don't owe him a breakdown. Your growth is the response. So write this in the comments and claim it now. My silence is my power. Queens, let the world know you've stopped chasing, you've started reigning. And if this message lit something inside your heart, if it reminded you of the power that comes when you finally let go, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you real, life-changing messages. Because queens like you were never meant to be silent. You were meant to be felt. Number 5. He never expected you to stop choosing him. Now he's stuck wondering why you no longer do. He never thought you'd stop choosing him. He never imagined the day would come when your love would no longer be automatic, when your heart would no longer stretch to meet his silence, when your eyes would stop searching for his shadow. He believed you'd always be there, always hoping, always staying. But now he sits in a quiet space, haunted by a question that won't leave his mind. Why did she stop choosing me? And that question? It's louder than any goodbye. Detachment doesn't hit a man like a punch. It hits like an echo. It starts off quiet, barely noticeable, but over time the absence builds, and suddenly he can't escape it. He's used to your effort. He got comfortable in the way you loved him even when he didn't deserve it. He never prepared himself for the day you'd choose peace over proving, clarity over chaos, and self-respect over convincing him to love you right. There's a saying, the scariest silence is the one that used to be full of love. That's what he's feeling now, because your detachment wasn't loud, it was graceful. You didn't slam the door. You just stopped opening it, and now he's stuck wondering what changed. But the truth is simple, you changed. Think of a tree that finally stops bending toward the sun. At first, the sun doesn't notice, but one day it realizes the branches no longer reach for it. That's you. You were always reaching. Now you're rooted. And he feels that shift like a storm. And queens, yes, now I call you queens, this is where your reign begins. The moment you stop choosing a man who never chose you fully, you begin choosing yourself. That's the shift that shakes him. Not anger, not revenge, but distance, peace, power. You stopped choosing him, and now he's stuck choosing regret. Write this in the comments, queens, and claim your power. I stopped choosing him. I chose me. Let your voice be heard. Let your energy be felt. We are here, working hard to bring you these life-changing truths. So you never forget. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to reign. Number 6. He walked away like you'd stay planted, but now he's realizing you were the roots. He walked away thinking you'd still be there, still waiting, still soft, still planted in the same place he left you. That's how sure he was of your loyalty, of your love, of your presence. He believed your roots ran so deep into him that you wouldn't dare pull away. But now he's waking up to a truth he never expected. You weren't just planted, you were the roots holding it all together. And without you, everything is starting to fall apart. Detachment is slow, like the quiet shift in seasons. At first, he doesn't notice it. He believes he still has time. He believes you'll reach out again. But day by day, the silence grows. And now that you've stepped back, now that your energy is no longer wrapped around him, he's starting to feel what he never saw coming. The ground beneath him is cracking. Because you were the foundation, you were the depth. And now that you're no longer rooted there, the whole world he built around you is losing balance. There's a quote that says, "She stopped watering the garden and he finally noticed the flowers were dying." That's exactly what detachment feels like to a man who took you for granted. At first, he enjoys the space. He enjoys the quiet. But then, that quiet turns into a void. The warmth disappears. The peace vanishes. And suddenly, he starts remembering the way you made everything feel whole. Think of a tree losing its roots. It doesn't fall right away. It stands tall for a while, pretending to be fine. But slowly, the strength fades. The leaves drop. The branches weaken. That's what your detachment does to him. Quietly, steadily, painfully. And the worst part, he knows he caused it. He walked away from the very thing that held him together. But you are not that woman waiting in the same spot, hoping he turns around. You've risen. You've pulled your roots out of his soil and planted yourself in new ground, where you can grow wild, free, and unstoppable. You're no longer attached to a man who couldn't see your worth. You've become the kind of woman who no longer asks to be seen. You shine so brightly, you can't be ignored. Queens, this is your reminder. I was the roots. He just never noticed. Write this in the comments if you feel your power rising. Let the world know that you are no longer standing still for anyone who walked away. We are working hard to bring you these life-changing truths because, Queens, your reign is just beginning, and it starts with letting go of what no longer grows you. Number 7. The woman who once reached for him now feels unreachable, and that's what breaks him. He never thought you'd stop reaching for him. He believed you would always be there, texting first, checking in, waiting for his energy to match yours. He got used to the comfort of your effort. He assumed your heart would always stretch toward him like sunlight through a window. But now you're nowhere to be found. And that silence, that distance, that sudden emptiness, it's hitting him harder than any goodbye ever could. That's the part he didn't prepare for. The shift, the stillness, the moment you stopped reaching. At first, it confused him, then it bothered him. Now, it haunts him, because nothing shatters a man more than realizing the woman who once made him feel chosen, seen, and safe now feels completely out of reach. She didn't yell, she didn't fight, she simply stopped showing up for a place she was never truly valued. There's a quote that says, "The scariest moment for a man is not when she's mad, it's when she's done." And Queens, that moment has arrived. You are no longer chasing, no longer proving, no longer bending. You have pulled your energy back, and the silence left in its place is screaming in his ears. Think of a lighthouse. It stands tall, bright, and unwavering, guiding lost ships home. But what happens when the lighthouse turns off its light? What happens when the beacon that once pulled him in no longer shines for him? He is left adrift, alone, no map, no signal, no direction. That's what detachment does. It doesn't explode, it disappears. It fades like a sunset he didn't bother to watch, only to realize he'll never see it the same way again. This isn't just about pulling away. This is about reclaiming your peace, your softness, your light. You are not unreachable out of spite. You are unreachable because you've finally returned to yourself. He doesn't miss the texts or the calls. He misses the energy. He misses the warmth. He misses being seen. And now, that door he kept half open, it's closed, locked, gone. So hear this, beautiful woman, this is not weakness, this is power. This is the moment you stopped stretching yourself thin for a love that never stretched back. This is the moment you became unreachable, not because you disappeared, but because you outgrew what kept you small. Affirm this truth in the comments. I am no longer reachable to what once broke me. Queens, if this message reminded you of your strength, if it lit even the smallest flame inside your heart, like this video and subscribe. We're working day and night to bring you life-changing lessons because you were never meant to chase. You were meant to reign.